over 1 year ago. This monitor was a dream of mine before buying. I had always wanted to play games on my Mac, but it wasn't so much the Mac, but rather the crisp, dense display. I was practically drooling over the Apple Studio display on the Apple website. So now that I actually have one and have been daily driving it for over a year now, what are my thoughts? Even though the display isn't mini LED, the colors are extremely vivid and solid, and not many displays compared to the Apple Studio display. And if you're looking for one to connect to your Mac, you basically only have one other option other from Apple that's over twice the price and without a stand. So the Apple Studio display at $1,600 is a bargain, right? First, if you're on Windows, using this display is possible but not easy, and you will need a cable from Cable Matters that does DisplayPort to USB 4. Now, this display with Mac is purely bliss. The 27 inches isn't super huge, but it's the perfect size to extend your 14 or 16-inch screen and still have that same crisp color calibration. Having two screens with the same level of color accuracy is a huge bonus, not to mention the compatibility that just naturally comes with this display. The Apple Studio display was released in March of 2022. Quite some time has passed. The Apple Studio display is still one of the sharpest displays you can get, being practically one of the only 5K displays. The Apple Studio display is 5120 by 2880 27-inch monitor from Apple with a display density of 218 pixels per inch. This monitor is a tough competitor. Not only is it 5K and extremely color accurate with a color gamut of 98% coverage on the P3 gamut, and those colors can be viewed at 600 nits of peak brightness. You get some of the goodies of an Apple display, but you also get a 12 megapixel front webcam with Apple Center Stage and 6 speakers, making this monitor like a small Mac itself. You also get 3 USB-C ports for connecting to the display. The entire display body is built from aluminum along with the optional tilt stand. Luckily, different from the Pro XDR, Apple has decided to include the optional tilt stand with the Apple Studio display, or you can pick a VESA-mounted option. However, both of these options are made at purchase and are permanent, so choose wisely. The display from the box to the setup process is minimal. Not only do you get no accessories, the monitor has no buttons. Essentially, this is just that, an Apple display. If you want to splurge, you can spend more than the base $1,600 and fork up $400 more for a height adjustable stand. I have the tilt stand, however. The height tilt may actually be worth it, as the added flexibility would be nice. The base display comes with a gloss finish, but for $300 more you can get a nano textured matte finish, but unless you have a very bright room, the gloss finish is likely better, as the textured will cause some sharpness loss. The entire monitor has a certain minimal aesthetic that really follows Apple's other products. The boxy build looks great and makes your setup look immediately a lot more professional. The insane color accuracy, a daily bonus, and the extremely flesh edges with the attention to detail, like how they hinge on the tilt display, with this awesome swirl effect going down the middle. When connecting to the display, you have one option, a Thunderbolt 4 port, indicated by the lightning bolt above it. You can't turn the display on or off with the button either. You also cannot change any settings with the button, so how do you change the brightness? Well, you'll need a Mac. Color profile and settings can also be found within your Mac as well. I use the Apple Studio display for everything from gaming to web browsing and editing. I spend a few hours a day minimum at my desk, and having a display that can make me feel inspired just by looking at it is a huge bonus. Something I want to mention is Apple has made displays for quite some time, and this is the same one that Steve Jobs used on his desk. Of course, there was an earlier version called the Apple Cinema display. I'm sure there's tons of people who don't have a Mac and like this display as well, and I want to tell you, don't worry about this display. A display like this creates more problems for a new user than it solves. Assuming you have nothing more than, say, a gaming PC, you will need at least a MacBook to update the display. Now, the Apple Studio display is a fantastic display, and if you're a pro looking for the best consumer monitor, the Apple Studio display is it, arguably better than the Pro XDR. Using the Apple Studio display, the only main caveats that I've ever noticed is the extreme resolution requires a pretty decent PC to power. Sometimes I have to use half resolution or resolution scaling or set back my settings. Because of the pixel density of this monitor, text on this monitor shows up great, and reading anything is a breeze. At times things will look like straight off of a piece of paper. The brightness of the monitor is a very great plus, and 600 nits is just the right brightness for something like this. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you enjoyed, you can leave a like and subscribe, and if you didn't enjoy, then you can dislike and tell me what you didn't like in the comments. Thanks for all the support, and bye.